Hi, I'm Clinton.
And I'm Claude, and we're the Lamest Defenders.
And welcome to our weekly comic book review show, We've Got Issues.
So let's go ahead and start talking about comics.
The mouse runs our lives. So this week, one of the issues I picked up was Invisible Woman #1. This is a miniseries.
I didn't even know she was getting her own.
I know, I didn't either.
Cool.
I saw it at the store this afternoon. I was like, okay, why not? Why not give it a shot? And I have to admit, I was actually very surprised by it in a good way. It was good. It turns out she has been a spy, basically, working for S.H.I.E.L.D. and Nick Fury over the last 10 years.
Kind of makes sense.
Which makes so much sense. It's
Invisible Woman.
Yeah, exactly. She's perfect for that. It's very much the first domino. It's just setting up everything that you're going to need to know. But it explains that there was one of her former partner was captured in an incident, and they worked together previously 10 years ago. Sue wasn't married yet, but she was engaged, and she tells him that,
get away, cowboy.
I'm taking fella.
Yeah.
But she definitely is. She knows that this guy has feelings for her.
Right.
So, and he's very flirtatious with her and calls her Stormy and all that stuff. But it basically
that was my nickname in high school.
Yeah, it evolves into a. Something called the Moravian Incident, where some American students are captured, and they're basically just political pawns. That's all. And her former partner is also captured, and all he said was he got one code word out, and it was just Stormy. So
and then she's like, "Let him rot."
So basically, that's her sign. Like, okay, I got to go rescue this guy.
Yeah,
because he has saved her life before, so she owes him, and it ends with the reveal of a prominent Avenger who deals in espionage. I'm recommending this. I think it's a good series, especially since it's a miniseries. I like they're just going to tell a story and just get out. So I recommend it. I say buy it.
And it's you can just hop in now. This was
it's
first
issue 1. Yeah, it's issue 1, and it's kind of cool because a lot of you don't really hear a lot of Sue Storm stories. So I mean, she's always just Mr. Fantastic's wife.
Right.
So it's kind of nice that she has her own storyline.
That's cool.
Time. So yeah.
Definitely. Something that is not very friendly to just hop in right now is Venom. So I picked up the newest issue of Venom this week, and it's pretty awesome. I'm really loving it. I actually think just based on what they're doing with them just changing up kind of the backstory of the symbiote and the planet symbiotes, without giving away too much, they're actually, it's just a really cool comic. Just Venom's always been one of my favorite characters. Well, specifically Eddie Brock, not Matt Gargan. Scorpion. Yeah, there's been plenty of other ones, and with this one, it feels like Marvel's strongest title right now in their entire lineup. And other people, I've seen other reviews, and they kind of
a lot of people like it.
Yeah,
from what I've seen.
So what makes this kind of hard to follow, like just jumping in right now, is it's following. It takes place right after War of the Realms, which just ended.
Big Marvel event.
Because Venom had his own tie-in, and there was plenty of stuff in that one that like carries directly over. So that was kind of cool, just because you have that mention. If you read it, everything just flows well too.
Yeah.
And one little story detail that I didn't really like. So Venom is really, I guess, combined with the whole Sin Eater thing. That's how he got fired from the Daily Bugle way back when. It was that a whole controversy about reporting on stuff that wasn't really exactly true. So there's some callbacks to that. It was kind of neat to see that kind of unwind. So he got fired, because his ethics as a journalist were gone. And then I guess he needs some money, and he's like, oh boy, I'm just going to go. He just goes into the newsroom. He knew somebody, that intern at the paper, and he was like, oh man, I'm down on my luck. Can you get me a job? And the guy's like, oh, I don't know, Eddie. And then he gives him a job, and that it's just like, all right, that's kind of weird. So after some hijinks in the dark,
wait, what?
Hijinks? Well, not that hijinks, but some really.
I say this is a family show.
Yeah, there's some really cool fight scenes in it. Eddie Brock actually doesn't have a symbiote, so he imagines himself beating all these people up, all these crazy people that are. I guess infected.
Okay. That's in this issue?
That's in this issue, yeah. He doesn't have a symbiote, so he imagines himself with that symbiote over him. So I can see how it can be really confusing to a new reader. When you have, like, wait a minute, Venom's right there. That's a symbiote. But it's all, they don't do a good enough job describing, I guess, that he doesn't actually have it on when he's in these fight scenes. But then at the very end, it kind of ties into the next big Marvel event that's coming up. I believe it's in August. So it's called Absolute Carnage. And I think if they do everything like how they've been doing with the great storytelling that honestly the symbiotes haven't had in almost the entire existence.
Honestly, yeah.
I think this is going to be one of the Marvel events that I'm actually pretty hyped for.
Cool.
So
that's great.
Yeah, definitely. If you can find a trade volume of this to catch you up, or if you can get the previous issues for cheap, absolutely jump on. This is great. If you guys aren't reading Venom, you're missing out.
Yeah, I've heard it's one of the better runs lately of comics. What is not one of the better comics that is out there right now is Wolverine versus Blade, #1.
But it sounds so cool. It should be cool.
It sounds really good. I wasn't sure if this was going to be another miniseries or what they were going to do with it. Apparently, it's just a one-off. It's just a one-shot comic, which explains why it's almost 60 pages. It's it's a thing. It's kind of fried my brain a little bit, honestly. It's not that it's not bad.
Okay.
Well, no, it is. It is bad.
Yeah.
It's not that it's horrendous. It's not
worst comic you've ever read.
Yeah, it's not the worst comic I've ever read, but it's just enough things are bad enough for it.
Right.
It's
a combination of all.
Yeah, that. The dialogue is
cringe.
Some of the dialogue is pretty bad. There's a fart joke in it, and it's just really it's
about time.
Yeah, it's like finally we finally got it. So,
we made it.
Yeah, the only thing that made it slightly redeemable was that it was at Doctor Strange's expense. That was the only thing that made it somewhat enjoyable. But the story on itself is interesting, and I'm not caring about spoilers on this one because I'm telling you not to read it. Don't buy it. But he basically there's this vampire group called the Creed, and they
like the band.
Yes, exactly. Is it Scott Walker? I don't know. Anyway, but so they take a chunk out of Wolverine during a fight 6 months prior to, and now they have their own Wolverine clone who is a vampire.
Oh.
So. But he doesn't have the adamantium. He's just got the bone claws. So that was actually really cool. I thought that was kind of neat. But it was also just they dealt with them so fast.
If he is a vampire, vampires are dead. Right? Are vampires living? Yeah. So
pretty much. Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. I'm not caught up on my vampire lore.
On your lore.
Yeah. Robert Pattinson's Batman.
Yeah.
But. So is he rotting then?
No.
Or he still has his regeneration abilities?
Yeah. They're trying to call their messiah, basically. This cult called the Creed. They feel like there is a messiah who is basically, they've discovered that he's basically a mutant.
Okay.
And he's a mutant, but he's a mutant vampire. So you would think you could do a lot of cool things with that, which I thought they would, but they didn't. I actually feel like the problem with this book is that it's not a miniseries. If this were 5-6 issues and they kind of do something similar to a Marvel Zombies,
Okay.
That would have been really cool.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a little different. Like, oh, man, can you imagine a vampire Professor X?
Yeah.
That would be, he could literally just bring people to him, and he could be like Dracula almost. But that would be, there's a lost opportunity right there. That sounds pretty good.
So was it a serious comic then? It took itself pretty seriously?
No, it took itself seriously. I mean, it was just, the art was weird.
Okay.
I mean, it wasn't like it was bad. Again, it's not like it was bad, but it just looked, it repeated itself.
Okay.
And it was just kind of boring. It's just like, I don't know. It's two cool characters that I like, but they didn't do enough with them.
Right.
But maybe the book will sell well enough, and they'll say, okay, we got a series now. But anyway, I mean, I hope not. if it's 4 to 5 more issues of that, I don't want it.
Dude, maybe they can tie it in with the Jared Leto Morbius movie.
There you go. Maybe.
Boom.
There you go. Perfect. So. Hopefully someday. Anyway, this is a do not recommend. I don't recommend buying it. Don't even look at it.
Yeah, don't you dare. Yeah. All right, guys. For my very last comic review for this week, it was Amazing Spider-Man 25, which is a 60-page issue, which is quite a bit. It's like reading a Lord of the Rings novel for your comics, or Game of Thrones or something.
Watchmen.
Yeah, and I just want to say this is a great issue. If you haven't been following the Amazing Spider-Man story by Nick Spencer, they do a really good job, kind of, I guess, just retelling some of the stuff that's already happened, but do it. They did it concisely, where it just flows into the current storyline. The one thing that I didn't really appreciate was the art by one certain artist. There's actually 3 artists in this issue, which is kind of cool because they split off depending on the storyline. I just never been a fan of Ryan Otley. I just think the art that he does, at close up it looks great and everything like that, but like far away everything just doesn't look great. Like the characters don't look like I guess the characters that you remember them. And I know it's his, I guess, style or interpretation of these guys, but for like, I've seen it in other issues. It wasn't in this one, but there might be a serious, I guess, matter, or like fighting kind of a dark, in a dark scenario with the villains, ain't messing around, and it doesn't fit like very well at all. Like it's too, I guess, goofy is the best way to describe it. And the other thing is, kind of talking about that, I said that there's different segments where there's a Spider-Man segment drawn by a different artist, Humberto Ramos, who's actually done Amazing Spider-Man stuff in the past, and he's really great at kind of expressing his flexibility, and it's really cool looking because you get he's super skinny and like super lean, and he's like doing some crazy moves, or like,
fits the character.
Yeah, it just kind of it fits his fighting style especially.
Okay.
So I like those sections, and that focused on Spider-Man, in a fight scene, and then it splices off into the Ryan Otley stuff, and he focuses on Mary Jane, which works well for that because it's I wouldn't say less serious, but she is dealing with a villain that it's kind of like a goofy, it's the female Electro, so she's not taken real seriously, like kind of like the first Electro.
Sure.
The thing I really didn't like during that whole sequence was really Electro, like she's using this hostage plan very similar to what you saw in Spider-Man PS4 with the Screwball challenges. So yeah.
Screwball, was she the one where she had to get so many likes before, or else she would kill the hostage or something like that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, by the way. we're talking about that.
Yeah. Someone might be kidnapped.
Exactly.
Who knows? What's behind this thing? I don't know. So, but the last thing, too, is just so at 60 pages, this is a very long comic, like I said. And it could have been cut in half because the main story is within those 30 pages. And Marvel's done this in the past, especially with Spider-Man, where they're just including stuff that has no impact on the story. They're these kind of one-offs. And it's just like, why? They're bumping the price tag of a comic to $8, which is double what it usually is. But the stuff that you're doubling on, it's a waste of money.
There's no like just meat. It's just fat, basically.
Right.
It sounds like.
Yeah.
So.
It just, I wish they would stop doing that.
Yeah.
Or at least add extra content that actually does something for the story moving forward.
Sure.
And I love like new writers being involved or, new artists and stuff like that. It's just like, if you do that, do it, with some sort of impact.
Yeah, do it well.
Yeah. So anyway, Marvel, if you're listening, like, could you like?
And why aren't you?
Yeah. Could you start sending me free comics? And then also, could you stop doing those double issues where they don't do anything? So, but yeah, that's really all we have for this week's comic reviews. Thank you so much for watching the video.
Yeah, appreciate you again. Please do subscribe, like, and comment if anything you want us to review, anything you want us to talk about. We'd love hearing from you.
Yep. All righty, guys. Thank you. We'll see you soon.